8 years, my family, we went on a canoe trip. We drove 15 hours north with a truck full of supplies for a week and a couple canoes on top. It was a day paddle through a creek system to a river that would finally take us to a secluded lake with no one else on it. Our week was going great until one day a storm brewed up. We were in the middle of the lake, and as I looked to my parents' canoe, I recognized that it was taking on water. As I looked to my brother's canoe, it was taking on water. And we started bailing water as fast as we could, to no avail. In 1 Peter, Peter writes to a group of Christians who are in exile. They're in a world that is not sharing their values, but instead sees their lives and actually ostracizes them because of it. Peter tells these believers, instead of running away from this, instead of trying to escape the suffering that they're enduring, that they should actually show that they have hope in the midst of it. As we were bailing water, it became very clear that it wasn't going to work. My parents' canoe actually sunk completely. You could only see the bow of it a foot underwater. But it was then that we realized that by allowing it to sink, we could turn the canoe over, put it up on the gunnels of the other canoe, and empty it completely of water. Then we had an empty canoe. I think that this is a lot like what Peter's saying to the believers. That when we fear our sinking lives, when we fear the difficulties and the struggle, that instead of running away from it and conforming with the world, that we should dig in deeper, to live righteously, to endure suffering. Because as he says in 1 Peter 3, verse 18, Christ also suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but being made alive in the Spirit. Peter shows us that suffering is not something that destroys us, not something that we're to fear. But when we suffer for the sake of Christ, it brings us life.
Thanks for checking out this video. For more great content, subscribe below.